Good morning, everybody. I hope your Thursday's off to a good start. Meteorologist Jaret Lansford here to guide you through the morning drive here for the next, about 10 to 15 minutes as we really start to pick things up on our roadways. And we've got several delays that we're going to talk about and also a road closure that's starting up in just over an hour that could really impact travel for those of you who are trying to head downtown. Let's start with some of those slowdowns, though, and we'll go look at Fort Street here. This is what we have right around 680. Notice how slow it is eastbound. And that is an area where we are looking at maybe a crash that had taken place that could be impacting things. Westbound, there's some construction work, and that's some of the reason why you're looking at delays there. But you want to watch that area right near 680 for the delays in both directions, westbound because of construction, eastbound a little unclear on the reason for that one, but those delays extend back toward 108th. Elsewhere in the metro, some things to watch for. Go a little further to the south. We did have a crash on 370. That has cleared, thankfully. We were looking at big delays in place there, but that no longer a thing you need to be concerned about. The JFK has had some delays as you're making your way northbound. Those really start to build as you make your way right around the Gilmore Bridge and as you're approaching Q Street. And you can see those do extend back down toward Cornhusker. So watch for those slowdowns as you're heading northbound. Can give you some estimated speeds in that stretch. You can see those showing up at roughly 25, 30 miles per hour. Gets even a little slower as you start getting onto the bridge itself. So be ready for that as you're heading through those stretches. And then as we look at the map overall, you can see the JFK delays showing up there. Dodge really slowing down quite a bit as you're making your way near 180th. Not terribly unusual to see that take place in that stretch, but about 168th to 180th. And we can work on giving you a shot of that one here in just a moment. This is a frequent spot to get some issues in the morning drive as drivers head east from Elkhorn and try to make their way toward downtown, midtown. Traffic often starts to bubble up and really back up in that area. So once we get this to load, we'll show you what it looks like. All right. And here we go. So this is what it looks like on Dodge as you're making your way eastbound near 168th. And notice how slow things are in that stretch, just kind of crawling as you're going there near 168th eastbound. So it's going to take you a little extra time if you're heading through that stretch. No crash reports or anything along those lines, but you are definitely looking at some sluggish travel there on eastbound Dodge. Looks like we may have a new crash coming in on 480 right at the I-80 interchange. Let's take a look at that area, see what we can find for you. So this is the area right around 480 and I-80 where we're getting the report of this crash, and I'm going to be kind of checking in on some cameras here and seeing what we could find. But while I'm doing that, I can show you what it looks like on the traffic maps in that area. And you can see that we are looking at a little bit of slow travel as you're approaching from the east on I-80 toward 480 interchange. And you also have some backups on that ramp to head westbound. So pretty congested in that area. Let me show you that here. There you go. So there's those delays I was mentioning in that area. And I will see if I can find a view of the crash for you. Okay, not finding this crash. It is the word I'm getting is on the shoulder, on the left shoulder as you're making your way on northbound travel to get to 480. So you want to use caution as you head through that stretch. We'll let you know if we get any more details on that one. Something else I do want to point out, though, this is as we wait for more information on that, I do want to point this closure out that starts here in just a little over an hour. This is on Leavenworth, just east of 480. And this is scheduled to start at 9, so still open right now. But starting at 9, that stretch between 28th and 26th will fully close. That's where there's already been a restriction. That will be fully closed, and that is scheduled to last through the day on Friday. So tomorrow at this point, you will not be able to use that to get to downtown. Your alternate routes get a little bit sketchy because as you're heading north in this area, after you exit 480, you're heading along 28th, where you'll encounter some lane restrictions. And if you try to use Harney, you also have lane restrictions on Harney. So things will get congested in a hurry in those areas. What may even be your best option, instead of exiting at Leavenworth, if you're trying to head to downtown, you might exit at Martha, make your way over to 13th Street, and then from there, you can make your way up to where you need to go downtown. And that's for today and tomorrow with that closure on Leavenworth that is scheduled to start here at 9 o'clock. All right, let's look again here at what issues we're seeing throughout the metro. And you can see a couple of pockets there on I-80 that are slowing down. Let's see if we can try to tie those maybe to any kind of issues specifically. I'm going to look right around that area near 42nd or so, where it's eastbound. Looks like between 42nd and 60th is where we're getting that delay showing up. So yep, we do have a crash there. So here is our crash. Let me pull that up for you. Our crash is right in this area right here, in one of the center lanes as you are heading your way. Looks like right about here, just before you get to that bend in the road. So between 60th and 42nd is where you will encounter that crash. And let me show you the camera view of this. And we just lost the feed. That'll pop back up here in just a moment. But as we are waiting for that feed to come back, this is a new crash that's coming in, and it's impacting travel as you're heading eastbound on I-80, right in the approach to 42nd. So we have that feedback. So let's go back to that. There it is. So this crash is right around here. You can see how things really kind of come to a stop in that lane. That's where you're looking at our crash being in place. So you need to stay to the right, stay to the left. Eventually that will likely get pulled over to the right shoulder, so it may be best to stick to the left. But be ready for delays as they work that crash. You can see how congested things are getting pretty quickly as a result of that one. That's I-80 as you're approaching the 42nd exit. All right, let me give you a map view again of where we're looking with this one. Here we are. This is where our crash is, and it's in the approach to the exit at 42nd. We've got one of the center lanes blocked. And you can see there are some pretty sizable delays here. Let me work on this graphic. There it is. You can see the delays stretch back to 60th Street at this point. So be ready for slow travel there. You're going to have to merge over to the left or to the right. It's one of the center lanes where we have that crash in place at this time. Let's get you back to that feed of where this crash is. Right there in the center lane. Let me point that out. Right there. And you can see how traffic is kind of darting to either side to avoid that. All right, getting close to the end of our stream here, but let's revisit one more time our overall picture of how things are looking on the roads. And you have those delays northbound JFK as you are approaching the Gilmore Bridge, that just heavy traffic that you're looking at. You've got a couple of spots on I-80 that are slow. I believe this stretch over near 84th is just high traffic and maybe a little bit of sun glare. But this one right around the approach to the 42nd exit is a crash in the center lane that you were just looking at. You need to stay to either side as a result of that one. You've got a couple areas on Dodge as well that are slow as you are approaching 144th eastbound, and then as you're approaching 168th. You also have some delays that are in place there. So as always, we always keep things up to date with the latest with the commute as we go through it on our First Alert 6 traffic blog on firstalert6.com, and we'll continue to do that as the morning goes on. Appreciate you joining for this live stream, and we'll have another update coming up here in just about 5 minutes on First Alert 6. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day and have a safe rest of your commute.